So I basically started with some basic incline dumbbell press. I usually like to begin with an heavy compound lift, and usually I go with the dumbbells because they allow for a higher ROM. You see, I touch the dumbbell in my pec or the shoulder depending on how I'm doing it to really get that nice stretch dip. Usually I shoot for between 6 and 8 reps, not really more than this, especially not in the first set. But yeah, good intensity, focus, and I always leave it to the beginning because I could never do this if I'm tired. So basically I did 3 sets of the incline dumbbell press, and now I went and did 5 sets of standard standing dumbbell lateral raises. One thing I found out recently here is that I feel it much more. You cannot really see it from this angle, but I feel it much more if I think about showing my rear delt while doing the lateral raises. That will naturally bias my lateral delt. The way I used to do it, it was a bit front delt dominant. I'm doing 5 sets because that's a weak point in my physique. And so I always also do it with a drop set. I think I recorded it. Yeah, I did. And you see when I drop the weight, I switch to more controlled style reps. But that's personal preference. Overall, lateral raises, I like to do them with relatively high reps, minimum 10 reps. Otherwise, I don't really feel it. Now, moving on to 2 sets of this incline press machine. So you see, I started with some chest, then switched to some side delts, and now a little bit more chest. I like to do that because it allows for some rest. And so when I come back here, I'm fresher, because if I did both pressing movements in a row, I'll be so weak here. I have bad resistance. I usually don't do this pressing machine, but today all the others were occupied, so I used it. I usually go for 1 pressing movement and 1 fly movement, but I think it's totally fine to do both pressing movements. Here you see I did some partials and also did a drop set. Why did I do a drop set? Because right now, as I told you, I'm focusing especially on shoulders, and another thing is lats. And so basically I do little volume for chest and all the other parts, but I try to really amp up the intensity, and so you can really see how I go balls to the walls here, and I really enjoyed it. So I didn't record it, but I did some cable lateral raises, 5 sets of that. Next time I'll show you. But now moving to a rear delt, I really like this pull. I don't really know the name of it. Maybe pull apart, rear delt, pull apart, I'm not really sure. But I love the stretch you see here. The stretch I get is amazing. And as with most my work, especially the work I do in small muscles like the delts, I always do a drop set. So now it's time for biceps, because today was a shoulder, chest, and bicep day. Usually in a push day it would be triceps, but usually when I get to triceps, I was so tired that I just decided to make it biceps. I prefer it. Try it both ways and see if you prefer it. I really like the cable bicep curls because they allow for a great stretch. Here, what I think is always like, I think of my elbow as a door. So I basically fix the elbow, and I almost don't allow it to move forward or backwards. Here I'm explaining to my friend that, and that's why I moved it. But basically thinking of it as a door, just milking the stretch of it. Here sometimes I do drop sets, sometimes I don't. It's really depends on how much time I really have. So after the 3 sets of bicep curls, cable bicep curls, I finished off rear delts with 2 sets of these rear delt raises. If I said I did 5 of those pull-aparts, I only did 3. So I did 5 overall sets of rear delts. I really like these ones. It's a more compound one. It's not as mind-muscle connection as the pull-aparts, but I really enjoyed them. But usually I do face pulls. I only did this because the cable was occupied. And that's something I always like to say is like, if something is taken, just feel free to switch to another exercise. Don't get so fixed in an idea that you can't do another exercise. So I'm finishing off with this reverse grip, the reverse grip curls, so I can do biceps with a little bit of forearms. I feel like this is enough forearm work for me, and that's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.